I'm currently experiencing my third consecutive miscarriage. Under my cute pink shorts, I'm wearing a diaper and I'm sitting in my bed and I have a moment to myself. So I'm coming to you with wet hair. I just showered, but my daughter's down for a nap and who knows how long I'm going to have. Earlier we went to the pool and I was reading my devotional. It's called Held, and it's 31 biblical reflections on God's comfort and care in the sorrow of miscarriage. I wasn't even able to get through this book before I had another miscarriage, and I purchased it because of my second. This time I'm only 5 weeks, which is crazy that I'm going to say it's a blessing because my body is passing naturally this time, and I'm praying that I don't need any sort of medication, DNC, or anything for retained tissue. And miscarriage number 2, I was 10 weeks, I was further along. So this time it is, I don't know, it's a little better knowing that I didn't get my hopes up as much. I was due in February this time, and it's crazy because my first miscarriage I had, I'm due this week, and it's just wild that it's just all too much. So anyways, reading this, y'all know that I love clothes. Today's passage is talking about the hemline of a garment, and she says, in deciding our limits and allowing us to experience them and bringing us to the place where we feel afraid, God keeps us from unraveling by leading us to himself. Like the hem of a garment is to keep a garment from fraying. God brings us to the end of ourselves so that we know that in his grace we are sufficient. Our surrender gives way to his sufficiency. Resignation gives way to rest. But because he is our gracious Father, he wants us to be at peace. When we stop fighting and resenting our humanity, we can boast and say, when I am weak, I am strong. It's kind of weird to share this with y'all and to be so vulnerable. And I told myself I wasn't going to share this third one because after the second I did share, and it did get to a point where it became too much because I was trying to encourage other women who were reaching out to me that were going through miscarriages. And I realized eventually I'm pouring out more than I have, so but I want to share some of the scripture that is helping me. The scripture for this, specifically the hemline passage, took me to 2 Corinthians, and it talks about Paul when he was boasting about his revelations and visions and all these things, and he had the thorn in the flesh. A thorn in the flesh was given to me, and he said, I pleaded with the Lord 3 times that it might depart from me. And this might sound kind of silly, but I read that, and obviously I've prayed more times than I can count that God will take away my secondary infertility. I don't know what to call it, but that he would take away this heartbreak and that we'd be able to grow our family. But specifically said I prayed 3 times, and this is my 3rd miscarriage, and I was just that's kind of interesting to read today. But God didn't take it away. Instead, he responded, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. And Paul goes on then to say, I'm going to kind of relish in my weaknesses and my suffering, because when I am weak, I'm strong through Christ. And it's really powerful for me. I'm someone, God humbled him, and it is humbling to know that I'm someone who's always been very healthy. I've been able to set my vision, and if I work hard enough, you get there. But this isn't like that. You can't work your way to another child. After my 2nd miscarriage, we tested everything. My husband and I both have had karyotyping done for chromosomal abnormalities. We checked for balanced translocations. All of that came back normal. We tested me for all sorts of autoimmune, thyroid, Lyme. We tested me for clotting disorders, antiphospholipids, something venom, just so many tests to get intricately into what's going on, and everything is coming back good. I went in for labs this past Wednesday to confirm my pregnancy, and my progesterone was a little low this time, and I've never gone in for that initial lab. I was hyper aware this time testing and wanted to go in. And so I don't know if in the past I've had low progesterone. I don't know if it's a reaction to my body just not being ready. I had a DNC 2 months ago, so my hormones, I don't know what's going on. After we got our testing back, my doctor did say, I think everything is, you're healthy. I just think you've had some bad luck. Try again. So we tried again. Anyways, I am vibing in and trying to be quiet, and I'm just God, what am I supposed to learn? Where is this? Why? I also really enjoyed a passage from a couple of days ago where she talks about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane when he says, God, please take away this cup from me. And God doesn't. So instead, Jesus starts to pray, instead of changing my circumstances, I pray that you give me the strength to do what you must and what you will through me in these circumstances. And that is what I am trying to learn right now. It's that I don't know why this is happening or why I'm going through this, but God, please use me as you will. Your will be done, truly. And I don't have to understand my circumstances. That's not how faith and obedience works. But I do pray for peace to just somewhat accept them and to not let them consume me. Faith comes a lot easier when your circumstances in life is panning out how you would like for it to. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't being tested right now, but I'm doing my best. And if you are going through all of this too, I just want to remind you a million times over that all of your feelings are valid. Psalms tells us that, like, all throughout the Bible, we know that God knows every word and every thought. Like, we don't even have to speak it. And you know, there was a scripture I read the other day that God he hears your moans and you're like, he knows. And so sometimes I do lay in bed and I don't know what to pray. I don't know what to say. I wanted to share because the more I'm diving into scripture and things like that, like, I know it's very cliche, but the more I'm reading and the more I'm spending quiet time, I'm getting up early in the mornings, it is helping me to feel peace. I'll stop rambling. I don't know if any of this even helped. I cannot recommend this enough. Held by Abby Wedgeworth. And journaling. I really have loved journaling. So if you're walking this road, we're in it together. That doesn't help, I know, but I guess that's all I have to say.